Have you ever peeked behind the curtain of your favorite live TV show or news broadcast? Well, if you did, you might be surprised by what you see. There's been a quiet revolution going on, one that's turned rooms full of custom machines into something that looks, well, a lot more like a high-tech data center. So let's pull back that curtain and see how this IT takeover really happened. And for those of you who've been following along with our series, welcome to part 30. Today we're getting right to the heart of the matter, tackling the fundamental shift that really underpins everything else we've been talking about, the IT takeover of the broadcast studio.
You know, it wasn't that long ago that a broadcast studio looked like this. It was a very physical, hands-on world, a place full of heavy gear, with knobs and dials and single-purpose boxes. Every camera, every microphone had its own dedicated physical wire that snaked through the building to get where it needed to go.
So the big question is, how in the world did we get from that world of wires and widgets to, well, to this?
I mean, just look at it. It's a world of servers, network switches, and endless blinking lights. It honestly has more in common with a high-stakes financial data center than what you'd probably picture as a TV studio. The change is pretty dramatic, and trust me, it changed everything.
All right, so to really understand this revolution, we have to understand the old world first. Let's call it the analog fortress.
See, inside this fortress, everything followed a very strict linear path. A camera captures the picture, it goes to a mixer to be processed, and then it hits a physical patch bay, literally a wall of plugs and cables, to get routed to its next stop. It was something you could touch and see, and most importantly, it was completely walled off from the outside world.
And then the invasion began. But it wasn't an army from another country. No, it came from the office right down the hall, the IT department.
This right here, this really gets to the core of the change. The classic broadcast engineer, they were masters of radio waves, of specialized hardware. They could probably tell you if a cable was bad just by looking at it. But the modern studio, it runs on a totally different skill set. It's all about networking, managing servers, and, you guessed it, cybersecurity.
And we're not talking about a slow, gradual shift here. The source material really nails it when it says the convergence of broadcast and IT has fundamentally transformed studio environments. That word, fundamentally, that's the key. This wasn't a fresh coat of paint. This was tearing the whole house down to the studs and rebuilding.
So, what was the Big Bang moment? How did this actually happen? It all boils down to changing the very idea of what a broadcast signal even is. We stopped thinking in terms of signals and started thinking in terms of streams.
Now, the magic wand that made this all possible is a standard called SNMP ST2110. Don't worry about the name. All you need to know is this. It lets you take a traditional TV signal and break it apart into its basic ingredients, or essences. So the video becomes one thing, the audio another, and any data a third. And each one can now travel all by itself over a regular computer network.
And this is where it gets incredibly powerful. Because everything's broken apart, the video can go one way, the English audio can go another, and maybe a Spanish language track can be sent to a totally different building miles away. It gives you total freedom, completely unshackled from the limits of physical cables.
But as you know, with great power comes a whole new set of headaches. This IT-centric world created some amazing new abilities, but it also opened a Pandora's box of new problems.
So let's talk about the powers first. You get incredible workflows like the remote integration model, or REMI. This means you can have your cameras and a tiny crew at a football game in Miami, but the director, the graphics team, the replay operators, everybody else is sitting in a control room in New York, producing the entire show over the network. It's a total game changer, and something that was pure science fiction in the old analog days.
Okay, but here's the flip side. Remember that analog fortress? It was secure because it was an island, completely cut off. Well, by connecting the studio to the rest of the world, we tore down the walls. And the modern IP-based studio is now just another potential target on the internet for cyber attacks, just like a bank or a hospital.
And these threats are the stuff of nightmares for broadcasters. Just imagine, minutes before the evening news, every video file you have gets encrypted by ransomware. Or what if an attacker hijacks the live feed and puts their own message on air? Or they just flood the network with junk data and knock a huge live event completely offline. The stakes are just unbelievably high.
So, let's tie this all together. Let's get back to that central question, why does watching TV now depend on a data center?
This chart tells you everything you need to know. That YouTube stream you're watching might use, 6 megabytes per second?
Well, a single uncompressed camera feed inside a studio is pushing around 1,500 megabytes per second. And 4K, we're talking about a mind-boggling 12,000. That's not a stream, it's a data tsunami. You can't handle that with regular office equipment. You need the heavy iron. You need data center-grade infrastructure.
And that's really the key takeaway here. In a modern studio, everything you see and hear, the camera, the mic, that little graphic in the corner of the screen, it's not a special electronic signal anymore. It's just data. Ones and zeros flowing across a network, being managed by servers and stored on massive disk arrays.
And now leads us to one final, really critical question. If every broadcast is just another stream of data flowing over a network, who protects it? Who guards the stream? Is it the old-school broadcast engineer or the new-school cybersecurity expert? The answer, of course, is that it has to be both. And that new, merged reality, well, that's the new world of broadcast.